Now I am. Definitely recording now.
Good, 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 good cop, good catch.
Cool.
Okay,
Booyakasha.
this is episode 37, right?
That's too many episodes.
Like trim some here.
Yeah, I was clearing out the Google Drive with all of our previous recordings because you have them all, right?
Yeah, I have them all archived, so it's not like
No big deal whatsoever. Yeah.
NBD. NBD. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What do I usually say in the beginning? Welcome,
Three,
everybody.
2, 1.
Welcome, everybody. Techlon. I actually can't, now that I have to think about it, I don't actually remember what I say.
Welcome, everybody, to the 36th episode of Tech Laundry. I'm Jeff.
Ah, that's what I say. That's right.
It's like one of those things you've done something so often that it should be just clear and obvious, but then when you think about it, you're like, is that right? Is that right?
I think that's
You know?
I think that's right. Yeah. It's kind of like muscle memory where you just kind of
Yeah.
forget and you just pick it up again.
And when you think about it, you're like confused, but then it's just like, oh yeah, never mind. I thought too hard. My brain.
It's not a big deal. I don't have a script written out here, but okay. All right. Here we go. And 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to episode 37 of Tech Laundry. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Tertius.
And we got a lot to talk about today. And actually, we don't have that much to talk about, but we have a little bit to talk about. And mostly we have to talk about it because it is huge news.
It's pretty it's a big kind of, it'll be a weird landmark case in terms of, data use and, people's privacy. But before that, we have a lot of, kind of things to talk about before that. As in life stuff, Jeff stuff,
Life stuff.
Life stuff.
Life stuff. There's a happy late belated I said Thanksgiving.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day to everybody. If you guys did that, it was a 3-day weekend for most people. I don't know who doesn't get a 3-day weekend.
What?
Did you not get a 3-day weekend?
For Valentine's Day?
No, for President's Day.
No.
You didn't get that day off?
No.
Why?
I'm a journalist.
Everyone at BuzzFeed had it off. Why didn't you? What did they do? Did they not?
It's because
that was like a national holiday.
Your company probably cares about its employees.
They care about its employees.
Yeah, no. I work, dude.
Oh.
So.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
That's
a
bummer. I mean, you get paid for it. That's the upside, right?
I hate you, Jeff.
If given the option, most people would just be like, no, I'd rather just have
I'm just gonna eat chili at home and shoot fire shotgun shells in the air. So that's America. That's President's Day.
People think we should be ashamed of our roots like that, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think we should. Have you ever shot a gun? Shot a shotgun?
Yes, I have. Not a shotgun, a handgun.
Feels good.
I don't. Right? Yeah, I mean that's killing power. That's a little bit horrifying.
It's just fun, It's like something you see in media all the time. You're like, I'm gonna do it for myself. When you do it, you're like, I can see why people are into this.
Yeah, but then you're just like, I don't trust myself. I am clumsy. I trip over everything, so I'm not gonna. I don't want to. That's like the power of life and death in your hands, man. That's horrifying.
It is. Great responsibility.
Oh, did you watch Deadpool yet?
I did. Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, that movie was off the hook.
That movie pretty much satisfied everything I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it was just existential crisis? No, not even a little bit. Just bang, bang, shink, shrink. It was great. Yeah,
it was, had just the right amount of feels. It was really cheesy at parts.
Yeah.
Campy, and a lot of fourth wall breaking.
Yeah.
And, it was good. Yeah, it was good.
Freaking terrific. I was depressed right after that movie because I was like, oh god, Batman versus Superman's gonna suck.
I don't know how they're gonna pull that off.
They're not going to. It looks like such a bummer. Everyone's all sad and mopey. They're like,
Yeah, they didn't. I don't know how much fun. I mean, then again, it's a trailer because like every trailer, I hate trailers actually. I hate the way that they're cut because they're cut all like the kind of the same way.
Hmm.
And I'm really hoping that the movie's not as it looks because it's so serious. You know,
Yeah,
like he's fighting Superman, like the most overpowered like superhero of all time. Uh, like Superman, like you can't
yeah,
stop unless he has like some kryptonite armor. It's gonna be some shit like that. They're gonna just do it. I don't know.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. But then
Deadpool
again,
was cool.
if you look at Man of Steel, that was a bummer too. That was
That
mm,
was had promise and it crashed and burned pretty hard.
yeah.
I don't know
And
how
like a
many
supersonic speed though, they made flying look really cool.
they did some things right, but I
Yeah.
think the impact of like people being punched through buildings was like losing it for me. I think I was like so ready for the movie to be over like halfway through. I was like exhausted. I was like, oh.
But Deadpool, man, that was like a gift that kept on giving for me. That was like every nerd boy's fantasy for a movie. It was like Guardians of the Galaxy, but rated R.
Yeah, it had the feel of Guardians of the Galaxy, but yeah, for a much more mature audience. Which, by the
Yeah.
way, don't take your kids to see Deadpool
If you do,
unless you
okay.
really want to.
When you watched it, did you see kids? Because I saw kids.
I saw kids that tried to get in, and then they didn't have ID, and they didn't let them in.
I saw children with their parents, and I was like, no, 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 no.
I was like, I mean, it's your kids. I watched radar movies when I was a kid, so it's
Yeah, look how you turned out.
yeah, it turned out great, didn't I?
You
Right?
don't even freaking fold your laundry. Look at your bed right now.
Yeah, I know. Well,
You're
there's
a
no point.
mess.
I think people who fold their bed, fold their
Yeah,
bath,
those people are insane, Jeff.
people who are the Hulk that fold their bed.
Yeah.
I feel like folding beds is just it's such a useless waste of my time.
No, it creates a calm, kind of like really great way to start your day. Like everything's set, you're good to go. It's like a really great starting point. Like it helps you
I
focus.
I can definitely get that, and I understand why people do it. Because when I go into a room that's like has their bed made, I'm like, oh, that's pretty nice. Make it really brings the room together. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna sleep in it in like 2 hours from now, and I'm like, do I really want to just I don't know, whatever. Anyhow,
I feel like this is a recurring theme with our like show. We'll just randomly go into tangents talking about like your sleeping habits.
usually goes
It's like,
back to my sleeping habits.
yeah, it's just so weird. Okay, so how is the sleeping habits with you transitioning to like a 9 to 5 job? How,
It's
how,
actually not too
how
bad.
do you like the morning? You know, there's things that happen in the morning, right?
Yeah.
They have
So I
like
had to
they
figure
have
out my
food, they
whole.
have TV, yeah, they have everything.
It's nice. Commuting on BART's not as bad as I imagined it to be.
Hmm.
Because partly because my hours I changed them to be 10 to 6, which
Okay,
works much better for me. So there's less rush hour. Parking's not such an issue.
yeah.
I gotta get a seat on BART and I get to basically sit there for 45 minutes while I commute in.
Mhm.
So I get to like listen to my podcast and kind of just do my own thing for 45 minutes, which is pretty nice. I've come to enjoy that,
Yeah.
even though it kind of sucks because it's like an hour both ways to
Yeah,
get.
it adds up your week, but then it's just like you could do things that you would have normally like do, like oh, I can just sit down and listen to a podcast that I really want to listen to, or like kind of keep up with your news. It could just be like a really nice kind of like isolated me time kind of thing.
Yeah, and like everybody else on the train has like the same idea. They're like, don't no one interact with each other as much as possible. Just
No one
stare.
wants to be here. We all want to be home, so just blinders, guys. It's blinders.
Yeah, just put it on. Just put them on and go to town. It's just funny seeing all the different types of people like that are on the train because it's just a huge variety. It's like young
Yeah,
and old, crazy, insane.
Jeff. Jeff.
Jeffs.
Jeffs.
Um,
I wonder how many Jeffs like are on a train, just like at a time. Sometimes, like at the very least, like 15.
15 is kind of high.
You think so?
I'd imagine my name was more popular with people who are about 35 to 40, I think now. Let's see. I'll have to check that on Wolfram Alpha because I remember typing my name in there.
Or
But
did we try that and I typed in my name and it was just like a sad face?
I think it was just like not fat, or it was like a
Not,
negative
not
logarithmic
right.
scale.
Yeah. Like your mom can't spell.
It's like it's like, did you actually mean this name? You mean
Turdsius.
you mean Bort? That's my son's name.
Oh, that's my father's name. He's Mr. Bort.
Mr. Bort. um,
So the job's good. Job's good. I
so
haven't seen anything. Have you written anything yet?
so job's going well. I have written something. It is in the pipeline to be published probably this time or in the next few days, probably the weekend.
Mhm.
Um, and it's gonna be about long ass chords,
Wait, what?
long ass charging cords, and how they change your life.
Okay, I feel like you just went into the back catalog of Tech Laundry and you're like, "This is a good topic to do. I'm going to do this again."
Yeah, well, it's is it like that? I don't know. I have this book that's in my bag that's just
Yeah.
full of ideas, and like it could be dumb, it could be really good ideas, just everything. Anything that comes to my mind, like that'd be a good idea. And one of the things that I pitched them when I started there was like 10-foot iPhone cords have been life changing for me. Maybe they are
Yeah.
for somebody else, and they're like, you know what, you should write about it because that's just kind of what you do. You come up with this idea and like, yeah, go ahead and wing that. Uh, there was
Yeah.
someone across. There's a coffee street. A coffee street. There's a coffee shop that's across the street
The
from my
fucking
building.
bay, dude. Just the bay. Just
The
the
bay.
coffee just flowing and people just like go over there with their cup.
Mm.
It's like $60.
I said, dude, well, exactly because it's there was a pour over that was $15 across the street
What?
for 8 ounces of coffee, which is not a lot.
What?
So one of like the writers there went over there, was like, well, let's try it, right? Because there's only like 14 cups that you can buy from this place, like ever. Like there's only 14 cups available and it's $15 because they own like this plot of land in some foreign country, and they like have the land there, and they harvest those beans every X amount of, I don't know, however long it takes to grow a coffee bean, I guess. And then they ship it here, and then like you have this like special blend. And she tasted it, and she's like not really a huge coffee person. And she was just like put like a stamp over the picture. It said, definitely better than Keurig. I can taste the difference between this and Keurig. I was like,
I
I was
hate
like,
everything about what you just said.
that was like the funniest thing. 'Cause I was like, I've never heard of like, I mean, just like $15 pour over is like completely insane. Like starting off.
It's madness. It's straight up madness. But then again, you did go around like eating fancy toast at one point.
I did, and that will be coming soon. Soon, I'm not sure when, but we will be doing a post.
Like maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but
for
someday.
those someday.
Someday. I was reading a New Yorker piece on fancy toast, and I was just like, you put spreads and like nuts and like things like that. I was just like, yeah, no, just give me eggs. Just a lot of eggs and meat. That's my
It's
breakfast.
artisanal bread
Oh.
that they use and stuff. I gotta say, general impressions is that it was pretty good overall. I would
Bang for your buck though.
bang for your buck. Wouldn't say it would be there for some of them, if not most of them, but
Jeff's like, I'll go back to reheating old California burritos for my breakfast. Thank you
I'll
very
just
much.
drink soy. Oh, dude, I miss that, having a California burrito. So good. Favorite
Is that
burrito.
gonna be our, like when you come visit? That's gonna be your thing. Go to Taco Street.
I'm definitely gonna go to Taco Steve when I go to Chicken. So that was a hell of an intro.
I know, right?
Let's get into the Apple
Wait.
stuff.
Yeah. So clarification on the last episode we did. So Jeff.
So yeah, update. We got a person that was tweeting at us, Mr. Antonio Olmos. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Saying that there were some corrections on the episode, and you are correct, sir. It's funny that you mentioned this because right as of I think today they posted that there would be a software patch for Air 53. So if you have had a third-party retailer repair your phone at some point, what will happen is that you'll update your phone, and then you'll be able to. Touch ID will be disabled until you get it officially repaired from Apple, but you will be able to unlock your phone with the passcode in it. Your phone will no longer be bricked. and you shouldn't have a danger of it in the future. It was not intentional to have Air 53 on the phone to brick your phone.
Which part of me feels like that's kind of bullshit. It's just like that's whenever a company tells me, "Oh, it wasn't intentional," I'm like, "No, no, you wanted this, but you got backlash. No,
Yeah,
don't
I
believe
think
you."
I kind of agree with that because like there, I mean, the whole premise goes that like oh, Apple, assumed that you would just use Apple as the
Yeah,
retailer rather than a third party that would be cheaper, which most people have done.
yeah,
So yeah, I think they got a lot of backlash for it. They're just like, here you go, here's a
yeah.
software patch, and that's fine.
I mean,
Um,
like either that or lawsuit, and this kind of makes the lawsuit kind of null and void because since it's a software patch, like, oh, we fixed it. You know, they
yeah,
just kind of like have deniability now. So
true. Well,
good, yeah.
it's a balance for privacy, and that can be a good thing as long as it doesn't go too far. Speaking of privacy,
Wow, that segue was a B plus.
B plus, just like my real grades. So in case you've been hiding under a rock,
The biggest tech news like this entire week, like everyone's been tweeting about this.
probably, I mean, I think, oh God, it's huge. It's huge news, and it
Yeah.
will set a precedent. This is going to be like the big tech court case in the last
Yeah.
probably 10 years. It's going to decide a lot of things when shit goes down. Apple has stood up, has thrown down the gauntlet, and is calling out to the public that the government
they publish an open letter.
an open letter, and they've only done that a few times.
Yeah.
They've done one for privacy before, and another one.
Like the Apple Maps.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Maps. They
Remember Apple Maps? Yeah, I remember they were like, "Oh crap, this is not that great."
Sorry about that, guys. Yeah.
I mean, okay, so a little bit of a backstory here. So, like, basically, the FBI came to Apple for help to basically, kind of get inside the iPhone used by the shooter in the San Bernardino attacks. Do you remember that whole thing that happened? A couple that
Yeah, like
terrorism and
big tragedy.
yeah, really, really awful thing that happened. And FBI was like, this iPhone could have the essential data that we need, and like Apple was, from what the open letter said, they try to assist as much as possible, but there's just some things that they're not allowed. Like they don't think they want to be able to let happen with the FBI.
Yes.
Yeah, like basically, here's what Tim Cook said is that we can find no precedent for an American company being forced to expose its customers to a greater risk of attack. We feel we must speak up in the face of what we see as an overreach by the US government.
Yes. And this is big because finally it's like confirmed like okay, the FBI has like specifically like asked Apple to create a backdoor in iOS to help them. And it's the outcome, and also because Apple's I don't know if they're first or second, doesn't really matter, if not the biggest company in the entire world. Is like now
it fluctuates between them and Google
and like Alphabet or whatever. And
oh right, I keep forgetting Alphabet's a thing.
Yeah, that's Alphabet. Yeah, no, that's what they call it. That's why Alphabet's so big, because it's everything.
Yeah.
So this is a big deal because someone so big has said no to the government, and they have the capability to fight and set a precedent in the court on whether or not this is okay.
Yep.
News came out later today that Sundar Pichai from Google's CEO also took the side of Apple, but kind of
in a very kind of like walking down. He was basically like he like tweeted like 5 tweets out, right?
I don't know if it was tweets or if it was like
it was probably like a statement that he broke up into tweets or something.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was done in that form. And like, I don't know if I was in like Google's position where they just have this dropped on their lap and everybody's waiting for Google to say something, because they're like, Apple said this, what do you say? And if you don't
Yeah.
see anything, it looks terrible for you. Like
Yeah.
a lot of
You
people were
can't.
like,
You just can't ignore it. It's like one of those things that if you think of the two biggest, tech companies in the world, it's Apple and Google. So it's just
and
like you can't ignore it. Dirty.
at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like people were like this is gonna decide my next phone. I mean, that's not like, I mean, I don't know if I like that's not really a threat, but like
Uh, I
but
mean,
it's
for
PR.
most people, I don't think they care that much, and that's the problem. Like that's the whole point of the open letter is to kind of show, like, kind of make it very, very well known to the general public. Because never forget how big of an influence Apple is. It's worth a freaking $500 billion. Like you can't ignore the giant elephant, like the giant white elephant of Apple in the room. So
Yeah.
that's the whole point of publishing open letter. It's like them just putting up that like letter on their website is just the equivalent of like hundreds of millions of dollars of like ad hours to try to like educate people. You know?
Yeah. And hopefully it pays off. We'll see.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
like
it's gonna evolve.
our previous episode, we talked about how important, like, like digital privacy is. We talked about the Touch ID thing and having, all that in just in the very kind, like, we always talk about how much we don't like being tracked. You know,
Yeah.
so it's
And
just like,
one thing, I mean, in like Apple won like a lot of fans um just by doing this. Like this is like, I mean, it makes like
they freaking won over Snowden.
they
Okay.
won over Snowden. Snowden was like, this is gonna be the court case of the decade. This is gonna be the biggest tech case yeah, of the decade. I think it's what he said. I'll have to look that
Yep.
up again. And like that's, I mean, we all know Snowden. Snowden's he's a tough one to please, I'm sure. And I mean, I've been an iPhone user my entire smartphone life, I guess.
Yeah.
So I felt pretty good before. Now I feel extra okay. Like brand, you always, everybody gets like the fanboys, and we get like the brand reaffirmment.
Yeah.
Like you're like, yeah, I made the right choice, because that's what a lot of people do. And I've always respected Apple for doing privacy
I
right.
mean,
I felt.
if you think about like Apple too, it's like that's kind of their DNA is to be really secretive. I mean, aside from like, except for the past couple of years where like leaks have happened in terms of like like remember how big of a deal it was that people found an iPhone 4, like the redesign of the iPhone 4, and people went crazy about it.
Yeah.
Like Apple's always been known to like keep things kind of quiet. Like I mean nowadays, like you're thinking about how they've never acknowledged the car or virtual reality. They just said, oh, these are interesting things, but they're working on it, but you don't really see any of the fruits of their labor because they
Yeah.
like to keep things quiet. Tim Cook basically called digital privacy like a fundamental human right. That's a pretty like it's that's pretty big.
It's pretty
Yeah.
profound of them to
Yeah.
like come out and say that. And it feels good. I mean, there's always trade-offs with privacy, like Android phones inherently have kind of a lot more functionality
Mhm.
because they're more open. And that doesn't mean they're not secure. It just means that because Google is harvesting so much information about you, they're able to offer things that are
Mhm.
kind of more to your preferences, I guess.
Yeah.
And some people prefer that. Whereas Apple doesn't sell any of your data. They collect all your data,
Mhm.
not all your data, but the certain parts, like I think all of your like your health app stuff is like encrypted and kept only onto your device.
Yeah.
Stuff on like your Apple Watch, all that's kept on the device. Only certain statistics are passed on to Apple, and that's all kept private within the company. They don't sell to anybody else.
Mhm.
And they have a lot of information that no one else knows about, which is kind of interesting to think about. And I like the fact that they just kind of keep it to themselves. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'll give you this information because that just helps you make products better or
Yeah.
whatever X better. Even though I use a lot of Google services, and like we're all Facebook users. I'm sure most people listening to this podcast, Facebook.
Yeah, I'm there about like one day out of the week, and then I deactivate it.
Yeah, you're probably better off than the rest of us because Facebook knows everything about you, and it knows things that you type in and delete. Maybe you don't search for it. Anything you do on Facebook is like constantly logged.
Yeah.
So Um, yeah, but I'm glad that Apple has done this. I'm glad it opens up a conversation for all this stuff and makes
Mhm.
people kind of understand what's at stake here. So good on them. Very much. I wish Google CEO was kind of a bit more firm on his stuff, but I
Yeah,
can't.
I mean, comparatively, like Tim Cook was full on. It like he like thrashed them basically. Like
Yeah,
it was just like, oh well. Speaking of Facebook, like Facebook's head, like Mark Zuckerberg, wrote in like response to the letter, quote, "Thank you, Tim, for showing what it means to be real, courageous, and authentic leader." So it's just like very kind of there's respect in the Silicon Valley, the community, like the overall tech community for like what Tim Cook is, because Tim Cook, like lots of people have been like kind of criticizing him and Apple right now, and Apple under the guise of his leadership, that they're not innovating as well. But if they're not innovating, they're kind of pushing what a like kind of modern CEO does. Steve Jobs rarely got involved in advocacy, very little. Like the very most he did was the red products and stuff.
yeah. He I think when he came in
Mhm.
to Apple again, I think he started shutting down all of
Yeah, like
the God, what's the word? Charities, I guess, and stuff, like the
yeah.
donation stuff. It was kind of weird
Hmm.
thinking about that now. I'm like, it seems very
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like it's weird because like there's no logs of him donating, but he probably donated things, but there's no kind of very
There's
clear
nothing.
things.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
clear evidence.
Yeah.
Um,
But Tim Cook has been like a really big supporter of like gay rights and like human rights and speaking out against like climate change and all that. So he's a very different kind of CEO that we're getting. So like trade-offs between like Jobs and Cook, who has the bigger effect on like the grander scheme of things is still still up in the air.
yeah, and one thing I got to say is that if like, I mean, when that open letter was published, they had like
Hmm.
hundreds of lawyers probably pouring over it, and like
Yeah.
editors and stuff. Like it's like insane amount. So for Sundar, like to like like if like any CEO is like, what do you say back? You're like, I'll get back to you on that because I need to talk to like a billion people.
Yeah, because they've been preparing that for a little like every line of that because they not to incriminate yourself kind of thing,
Yeah,
not to like kind of like it's because every word of that like lawyers and stuff will like kind of line by line like make sure everything's clean and like
like
exactly
yeah,
what you want to say so it can't be misinterpreted and all that.
yeah, it was a very clear statement. And if I
So I
could,
mean like yeah. Well, I was gonna ask you, Jeff. I mean, like, okay, so I know we're talking about like the general idea of like the privacy that we have like as like individuals, but have you considered the other side in terms of this is information that FBI thinks is important when it comes to counterterrorism? The iPhones in question did belong to the shooters of the San Bernardino attacks. Like,
yes.
did you ever consider maybe Tim Cook is wrong on this, especially in terms of national security and terrorism in that case? Have you ever thought about that?
Sure. Yeah. I
What
think
conclude? What? Tell me about your thought process on this.
um yeah, it's frustrating because you're like, that the ability to get the information out of it,
Hmm.
like there exists maybe some sort of evidence, and it's in arm's reach,
Hmm.
literally, because it could be on. It's like here it is, it's
Yeah.
right in front of us, and we can't do anything about it.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that can be frustrating. However, I think even people who are in um, a law enforcement position should not be it, because like the way they're looking at it's like it's convenient. Like there's all these other ways to kind of
Mhm.
figure out um like to find evidence, right? Like
Yeah.
good old fashioned police work is like the main way.
Mhm.
And it should never convenience should never be sought in when you're seeking conviction or doing evidence.
Mhm.
Like it shouldn't just be like you shouldn't just have like oh yeah, we do that because it's convenient for us to, like, you don't want to have a police officer say that when you're like
Yeah.
convicting someone for life or something like that. You just don't want to do that. There should be, like, if there's evidence, there should be very clear evidence. It shouldn't just have to be, like, it has to be in this one place.
Yeah.
um So yeah, it kind of sucks because you're just like, yeah, they could just like, do me a solid, unlock this
Mhm.
phone for me.
Yeah.
But that also, I feel like the terrorists win if that happens.
Yeah,
'Cause everything-
yeah. It's like one of those things, like the whole like TSA thing, like how much like of our, like security has trumped our freedoms, kind of thing. Like for me, when I was kind of thinking through this and kind of like trying to think my way through this, I always thought, this is a good reason why the FBI would want Apple's help, but then it kind of creates this weird precedent of, hey, FBI is asking for something, open this for us, and then like now there's a precedent like, oh, they've done that, so they'll do it again, kind of thing.
yeah,
It's just
exactly.
like it becomes a kind of like a slippery slope because like when you give like a government agency power to do something like that, it's just like it's not like they're gonna do it once and they're like, we'll never use that card again.
Yeah, exactly. There's no guarantee. The biggest thing is that there's no guarantee
Hmm.
if a backdoor is put into iOS. There's no guarantee that the right people are going to be using this. Just like how the like Project Prism, it exists,
Yeah,
collecting all this data. There's no guarantee that this is going to be used properly or for the right reasons.
yeah.
Um, and how to follow up to this? I'm sure somewhere. I'm trying to think about this. Oh yeah. So like the whole thing about the terrorist win.
Yeah.
Like it's one thing for like a terrorist attack to be successful and people die.
Mhm.
That's like they're like ISIS would be like, yeah, great, we did it. We did something. But it's another thing if like they completely change how like American freedoms are. And then that's a
Mhm.
big win for them. If this case like goes through and like, you know, our security is
Yeah.
compromised, that's like really sucks. Like that's like an extra super win for them because they're just like, wow, look what we did. Like we didn't have to
Yeah.
do a damn thing, and look, they all went crazy, and they just like gave us like
Well,
made
technically,
our
they
jobs
totally
easier.
did do something. I think what you meant is, oh, we did one thing and it changed the way you people live. Basically, look
Yeah,
how
I mean,
quickly you're ready to like give up like your livelihood because it's wrong.
yeah, I mean, it's like 9/11. 9/11 changed everything about our country,
Yeah.
and that in the sense, like I don't know if you can compare really these two acts, but it's still like
I mean,
it's
they're both under the umbrella of terrorist attack.
yeah,
They're different scales, and very different kind of motivation, technically, and the scale is just completely different. So, yes, they are terrorist attacks, but they do affect the way we think about like and how we live our lives, kind of thing.
yes, and everyone loses if this happens where Apple is forced to build a backdoor into their
Hmm.
into iOS, and that's a lose lose for everybody. No one should want it. There, yeah, sure, it sucks that like this ability to get easy access to things, to get to this information. Sure, however, everyone loses because if
Hmm.
it's used in the wrong way or something's compromised, then that's even worse. Like the losses are so large.
Yeah. I mean, I
Plus,
feel like yeah, we're giving up so much of what like our privacy, so that we like for like the really small amount of data that they would need. Like just it's kind of a horrifying thing that like I don't like my data being able to be accessed by anyone.
yeah,
Regardless, just like
I
that's
mean,
just weird to me.
it's like when you're a journalist, like
Hmm.
journalists have a hard job. They have to ask hard questions, and they're going to have people who don't want to talk to them all the
Yeah,
time. And you're going to make a lot of phone calls, and you're going to try and drill people to try and get things out of them.
yeah.
Um, and that's like exactly how police work should be.
Mhm.
Is that you're trying to do it like that because that's just how it
Yeah,
is.
there's yeah, as a journalist, there is a lot of ethics involved in making sure you got information the right way. Like, like that's how I know the undercover things. They kind of walk that weird line between you're like misrepresenting yourself. Like how much of that is, um, like it kind of makes it like you shouldn't do a wrong to achieve a right kind of thing because what the public deserves is the truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a very confusing, horrifying mess. There's a whole class on it, on media
Yeah.
law.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There definitely is. And there's a very good one at Chico State from what I hear. So if anybody's if anyone's of the college age and is looking to go to a college, Chico State has great great journalism program.
Yeah, I mean, both of us went there, and
Indeed, I'm not even a journalist, and I got involved in that program. So
yeah, you kind of got sucked in, didn't you?
I certainly did, and now I'm working for a media entity.
Yeah, is that funny how like there's a lot of people who became journalism majors but don't work in journalism anymore? But then you didn't have a journalism degree, but then like you got part of it, and like that's just how it worked out.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of encompassing a lot of different types of people of different background now, which is good because, goddamn, do they ever need it? They need new tools. They need to make things
Yeah.
just more clear.
God bless the nerds.
God bless nerds. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
I mean, it's like again, this is going to be this is a story that we're going to be following up on because, of course, this is just like Apple saying something. Now the government has to respond. It has to like there's going to be a big talk, conversation, and ramifications of this, and this is going to be one of those things that we're going to come back to. This is not as sexy or exciting as WWDC or Google I/O, but it's important to tech. And like right now, in terms of the day, how we live, our privacy, our online lives are so important that we need to like really like focus in on it.
Yeah, it's important to build these things in before we go forward to like make sure that like we set precedent on what we care about. So that later we don't get our like cyber warfare craziness, which is totally happening right now, and like I don't know, it's like the FBI, like all the government's gotten hacked a few times, and they've exposed databases and stuff, and it's just like
you know what I'm scared about, Jeff? Do you remember watching Captain America: Civil War?
Yeah.
Like I'm just scared that like a giant helicarrier is gonna start shooting people. Because they're being tracked on our phones, and they're like targeting this son of a bitch. He dead now.
I'm surprised. Actually, I shouldn't be surprised. I'm sure they're already doing something like that.
Drones, dude. They're called drones.
I know. Like, there's already that's already a reality. It's just weird to think about it because you're like, huh.
Because we're in America, we're in this kind of weird like embrace of security. That's why 9/11 was so crazy, and then like freaking the Middle East gets bombed every like freaking week. It's like
I've got to wonder what it's like to interview. Like, I want to interview a drone pilot because like they operate, sometimes in this country.
Yeah.
And so like they go and they fly these drones. They do these operations. They drive home at night. They go to In-N-Out. Or no, they go to In-N-Out, but like they
I like how that's how you want to connect with them. Like you eat In-N-Out, I eat In-N-Out.
Yeah, like they go home at the end of the day. They just like take a shower. Like they live like their normal lives, but they're performing all these like big impactful things. But like they're not over there. They're here. They're just flying what's essentially like it feels like a simulator almost, or a game.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly what it is, and it's just like there are people's lives, and like in the way we thought of war before, it was like two sides with rifles, and like one of the things was like don't start shooting until you see the whites in their eyes or something.
Yeah,
like when you're a drone pilot, like how much like are you taking stake in the fact that these are people's lives that you're handling? Like it's a kind of like when you're playing a video game, kill, it doesn't matter in the end. But when you take that experience and put it in real life, it's kind of a horrifying idea.
Yeah, there's a huge disconnect. And I remember there's a scene in I think Surrogate, which wasn't a very good movie, but it had Bruce Willis, and the idea was that in the future everybody doesn't really move around. They connect into these like remote devices with their brain, and then they like go out and live out their lives as like their better looking selves, but they're just drone humans with their mentality in them. But what they would do is that they would have like there's an army scene where like there was a guy just basically controlling like robots on the ground that were humanoid shaped, and they were just like running across like a field. And there's like gunfire going on, explosions, and I was like, huh, it's funny because we do something that's better than that, because no one actually wants a human bot on the ground. It's like if you're from the air, you have all this flexibility. So I don't know. I just thought that as a side note, I just thought this is interesting disconnect there, if that's a thing.
Yeah.
Maybe I should look up this interview of that already. So privacy, guys, check it out if you haven't read the article.
This is not a fun conversation.
Not a fun conversation.
It's a pretty heavy topic. It's a very kind of like dry, toasty topic. It's essential, but it's not sexy or fun. It really isn't. But
No.
super vital still. Super, super, super vital.
So what else Apple announced was iPhone trading program.
Oh right, okay. So Jeff, okay, you have to walk me through this because I saw a glimpse, I saw a tweet about it, but I didn't read further because I was sleepy all day. Like I've been out of it. Like I ate a bag of pork rinds today. I was just so tired. So okay. So I have an iPhone 6, 64 gig phone, and I was hoping to upgrade this coming year because I'm on the 2-year cycle. I'm on the solid number, not the S's, but I'm on a solid number. So how will this help me, kind of? Because I was like, remember I told you like my plan was when the new iPhone comes in, I'm gonna start doing that whole iPhone like the Apple upgrade plan, like every year or something, you get a new phone.
Yes.
So how does this differ?
So this is different. It's new Trade Up with Installments program. Very catchy name.
Yeah, very sexy name.
Good name. Good Apple name. So the idea is that you just take in your current smartphone. That could be Android, Apple, or Windows phone if you're one of those.
Okay.
1%.
With the 1%. The sad 1%.
I've only known one person in my entire life who had a Windows phone. Right?
Dude, my brother and his friend had Windows phones. I laughed at them for so long. Now they're Apple users.
So you guilted them into it.
No, because like they were just like, I want Instagram and stuff like that. Like all the apps, they're just like the functionality.
I want Instagram. Wow.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you take in your old phone, you get a certain amount of credit that you can put towards an installment plan that you'll pay off over 24 months, so like 2 years. So this can largely vary depending on what phone you're trading in. If you're trading in, you said iPhone 6?
iPhone 6, 64 gig.
So the max trade-in value for that is $300.
Okay.
Which is pretty good. I mean,
I feel I can get more on eBay.
If you unlock your phone, you could totally sell your phone for like way more than that.
Yeah.
However, if you're not one of those people, you can take the easy way out and just put an iPhone 6 up. Like it's funny, I have an anecdote about this because just today a friend texted me and was like, hey, I want to buy a new iPhone. Should I wait or should I not? Right now we're like mid-cycle in between the iPhone releases. There might be a thing in March, but usually September is when they release.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are flagshipy ones there, but like, there's this weird kind of, they want to, like, I've been hearing rumors of like a 5 SE, a smaller thing that we always hear. Every year we hear these like, oh, Apple might release a 4-inch iPhone or a 5-inch iPhone, like as like a kind of like the third lower tier. Like we had it in the 5C before.
Yes, and it seems so. I think they need to fix their naming scheme first of all, because it's getting kind of weird. Because like they're like, oh, iPhone 5, because iPhone 5 is going to be like the form factor of the 5. And and then there's like but then there's like the 5C, which is like the cheap version of the iPhone 5. But I rumored iPhone 5 SE is supposed to be the form factor of the iPhone 5 with the innards of like a iPhone 6.
Yeah,
that is the idea. If we're gonna hear more about that, we'll probably hear more about it in March. People feel pretty strongly that that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So if you're into that, maybe just wait. It's only gonna be like a month from now.
Yeah, but for the true flagship experience, definitely wait in the fall.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the latest and greatest obviously comes in September.
Yeah, and it'll be a whole generation upgrade, iPhone 7. So, yeah. Anyhow, so my friend was asking me today, like, oh, what should I do? And I was like, well, what do you have before? And it just happens that today was also the day they announced the new trading program. So I was like, this is perfect for her because I'm not going to tell her how to unlock her phone. She's not going to invest the time to to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
So, and even me, like, sometimes you just, you know that there's a better solution, but you just don't do it because you're like, well, it saves me time and I just don't feel
I just like yeah, exactly. That's why I'm really good about eBay selling because when I was really poor, like all I did was buy and sell things on eBay, and that's how I earned my money. But no, most people wouldn't sell things on eBay because they have to find the packaging and selling it and like putting up the descriptions and all that. People don't do that.
I have an app for that. Since you're going to be moving on to New York soon, there's an app called Ship that you take a picture of whatever you're shipping. Someone comes to your door and picks it up and packages it and sends it off for you.
Really? I
It's,
might try that because I have a few things like my tripod lamp.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Like just weird stuff. You should definitely take a look into it. I don't know what areas they operate. Definitely LA because my brother uses it to send me stuff. It's worked great both times. In fact, my wearable was shipped with Ship, so check it out if you're into that. I think it's like $5 shipping, maybe cheaper. I'm not sure.
I don't think that's true, Jeff.
You don't think so?
$5 for shipping flat? No.
Why not?
Because they're just some boxes that are huge, Jeff.
Some, but sometimes you never know.
It can't, there's no like maybe like a standard size is a $5 shipping thing. Maybe it's like $5 for packaging and then you add on the shipping costs.
See, we use postal technology to compare prices among carriers, then send your shipment with the lowest cost option. Our $5 fee covers pickup at your door for as many as 20 items you need to ship. So $5, they come to your door, and then you just pay shipping. I think $5 is a pretty sweet.
Wait, so did you say they're packaged up for you?
Yeah. So you take a picture of them. You kind of like just basically so they get an idea of like what they need to do to package it, and then someone comes to your door, takes your items from you, and they go and they just handle.
Yeah. So like if I like take a picture of like a bundle of like my vinyl records or something.
Yes.
They do that for me. Okay.
They would totally do that for you, and someone will just be like, "Oh, okay, we'll take those for you," and then they just get there, and you can track it in the app. All the things are done through the app.
I'll definitely try that out, Jeff. I want to see if there's any support in Chico.
You should check it out. If there's not, there'll probably definitely be one in New York City for sure.
Yeah. You know what's funny? You're actually the first person to acknowledge the fact that I'm moving.
Really?
I didn't even announce it yet. I haven't announced it yet.
Oh my god. Do I need to edit this episode?
No, it's fine. Okay. Like I've been kind of keeping it mum for a long time, but I guess we should just say it now. At the end of February, the beginning of March, I'm actually moving to New York, so the schedule's gonna be wonky. Like prepare for some weird growing pains because Jeff now works a regular schedule. I still don't know what my schedule is. It's already a hassle that we live on the same like freaky time zone.
Yeah,
so we have
that 3-hour difference.
Yeah, so it's gonna be really curious how we move forward here, like how we're gonna play it out. But yeah, so I'm moving to New York. Very excited. Already started packing things. Like Jeff was saying. So, like it's super horrifying. Like the idea is horrifying. But Jeff, I will tell you how Shake Shack is.
Shake Shack. Oh, is that what I've? Is that the?
It's the East Coast equivalent of In-N-Out.
Shake Shack. Man, I don't know what to make of that name, but let's hope it lives up to its notoriety. It's probably pretty good.
I'm sure it's pretty good, but we'll see. Because I love In-N-Out, so we'll see how this works out.
So anyhow, your trade-in value may vary depending on what phone you're turning in and what condition and what operating system, like all these like different factors. CNET has a great write-up if you have an iPhone that you're trading in. They have a very clear list of what you're thinking, what you're like picking. So if you have like, you're trading in your iPhone 6 and you're going to get, a 6S, like 64 gig, you're basically going to pay $18.72 a month. Which is like pretty good payment. I think like
basically
20 bucks is pretty good.
One of the coffees at your fancy ass San Francisco joint. So
yeah, so one fancy pour over in San Francisco can get you an iPhone 6S to be used.
I feel like we've used this metaphor before when we were talking about the upgrade program. Huh?
Did we?
I think we used that metaphor, like for the cost of a cup of coffee.
The cost of cup of coffee is getting a little too high, I feel.
Hey man, you live in the Bay. We'll see how the prices match up in New York, man. Because we're both going to be living in the like two of the most expensive places.
Yeah, on planet Earth.
Yeah, so.
Oh god,
that's going to be fun.
I'll start looking for a place if everything works out in like 2 months. So
so when your like internship period is done, right?
Yeah. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
Maybe live with Ben.
His place is too tiny.
Well, then you find a new place, Jeff. He doesn't like stay there forever.
Yeah, but I don't know. Where else you get it? I don't know. He lives in a place that's actually amazingly convenient.
Mm.
So if you can afford it, I mean, more power to him. So definitely look into it if you were hesitant or money was an issue for you for the monthly payment system before.
Hmm.
Now you can just trade in whatever you have and kind of get a little bit more value out of it.
Yeah.
So
So it just makes it easier to switch from Android to Apple, basically, is basically what you're saying.
never did say that. Although
It's
there
true though.
was actually recently the reviews, the embargo got lifted for the next bit Robin, I believe.
Yeah.
I got my hands on that actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it have a soft touch feel? Because it's okay. So basically, the Nexus Robin is basically the super cloud based phone that it wants to solve the issue of you running out of space on your phone. It still has onboard memory and stuff, but what it does is, for instance, when you take a picture, the high res version goes to the cloud while you have a smaller version of it on your phone, cutting down on the size of your stuff.
Exactly. I think when you buy it, you get 100 gigs
Yeah,
of
you do.
cloud storage, and like that's great. And I actually really dig the build
Hmm.
of it. It's like this. It's like it's a hard plastic. It doesn't
Hmm.
feel cheap though.
It's like
Um,
white and light blue. It's like very
yeah,
kind of like
it's a
baby blue colors.
nice color tones
Nice
they got
color.
on it. It's got really hard edges in terms of like it's very square. It's different than other designs. It kind of reminds me of. What does it remind me of?
Like Windows Lumias, maybe.
Maybe, or like maybe like the Nexus 5 kinda, but with like harder edges.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm
Nexus 5 is
thinking
kind of
Nex
rounded.
am I thinking the Nexus 5X differently? Maybe. Yeah, it's like kinda Nexus with harder edges because they got curved edges and stuff.
Yeah,
I really like the design of it. I like the size. I think it's very good.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
don't they
'cause
also like kind of like put their apps like kind of inactive and stuff? It kind of removes the apps that you don't use that much.
yeah, you have the ability to archive apps
Hmm.
and kind of basically like send them to the cloud. Then when you need them, you can summon them back again.
Yeah,
And it'll do stuff like when you're plugged in and connected to Wi-Fi, it'll like sync your whole operating system and stuff, so everything's in the cloud. And it has like a little indicator on the back to tell you when it's like doing the sync.
yeah.
So and the best thing about it, not about the best thing, but it's unlocked, and
Hmm.
you get all these nice features for what I think is
400?
$400.
Yeah.
I think is what. Um,
I mean, okay, going back, the specs are pretty kind of middle of the road. They're nothing to be crazy about. They're not. It's not gonna have like 6 gigs of RAM.
yeah,
Is
it's
it like
not
maybe
not
two or
flagship,
three?
not flagship.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it felt slow. Everything
Mhm.
I used on it felt pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah. And it's running Jelly Bean.
It's running Marshmallow, I
Oh,
think.
Marshmallow.
It's
Okay.
running a near stock Android experience, just similar how Motorola does their own thing, with just
Mhm.
like a few modifications to like make it because they're
Yeah,
it's
I
syncing to their
really
own
kind of want to
system.
play with that because the idea of cloud is interesting. Because I remember how I bought the Chromebook, and I hated it because I mean I bought it because I love the idea of like the cloud based system, but the execute it was just so underpowered and it was a terrible experience for me. This could be a really interesting kind of way of using the cloud.
Yes, and I got it because everything's in the cloud. I hope to God that they secure that
Yeah.
because that would be nice. Oh, it also has like a touch sensor. It uses USB-C for the charging, which is really
Okay.
nice, and it has a the thumbprint readers on the side. So like it's just where your sleep wake button is on like an
Yeah.
iPhone. It's also a fingerprint reader as well.
Oh, cool.
That was pretty quick. So overall, I had very positive impressions about it. I
Yeah.
didn't have very much time to play with it more than that. I know
I I kind of want. We should request a review model for it. I
do
really
it.
want to do a write up for that.
Send him an email. They have a
Yeah.
very nice little review kit they got there. One thing I will say is that I felt when I was taking pictures on it, it was a little slow. Like I'd
Mhm.
press the button and it would like wait a second and go and then kick. And
Yeah.
like I'm so used to my phone being instant or like top speed burst pictures. Like I now
You do love the burst, don't you?
I love burst. I like just clicking my phone. Like I'm so used to like swiping from the bottom right corner to like get up to the phone already.
Yeah.
I take a lot of pictures and stuff.
Dude,
So
I really want the Motorola double the
yeah, the chop or not the chop,
the,
the flick.
the flick and the chop. I love the chop for using that as a flashlight.
Yeah.
That's freaking brilliant. I love that.
I wish Apple would adopt motion gestures like that.
Yeah, but
I'm
it's
sure you can do it when
it's not sexy enough for Apple. Not smooth and sexy
You
enough.
know, yeah, the technology's just not there. You know, it's just that's Blizzard's excuse for a lot of things. If you guys are video gamers, so yeah, that was a side note. I did not intend to talk about the next bit, Robin, but
Yeah, it's an interesting little phone if you're interested in like never. I because my friend talked to me about like, hey, I'm running out of storage on my phone. Like, what do I do? I was like, okay, what kind of phone you have? She turned out to have expandable storage, so I was like, oh, the really easy way is just to buy more storage.
Yeah.
But for some people, nobody does that though. Like most flagships, Samsungs, the iPhones, they don't have expandable storage anymore.
it's slowly becoming a thing to not include.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why Samsung dropped it. A lot of people were pissed about that.
Waterproofing.
That's true. I think even the the Samsung Galaxy 5 had the capability to be IPX6 or whatever,
Yeah.
even though it had a removable back. But I think that I don't know. Whatever. There's advantages and disadvantages, but most people who are big fans of that brand were like betrayed.
Yeah, I mean, like they were really bad about like the power user aspect of it. You know, battery, the expandable storage, all that stuff.
So I'd recommend it if you're into taking a lot of pictures and you don't want to uninstall stuff. Look into it.
It's also Google Photos.
That's true. You have Google Photos too. I mean, well, the thing is, like the next bit, Robin will actually it'll send the original to the cloud server and then keep like the downsized version on your phone to keep safe space.
So the opposite is true of Google Photos.
Yeah, that's true. They'll strip it down to the.
Yeah, but then most of your photos do you really need them to be super high quality though?
Yeah.
All your pictures of tapas.
I think it's just the idea is like I mean you can pay to have that feature and like I think that's probably fine. I don't know. I feel like I'm like if there's gonna be that one time where like I wish I had RAW or like the full resolution. But I don't know. Maybe it's something I won't care about if I used it more.
Cool.
So check it out. $400. Pretty solid phone. I think most people are.
Yeah, I really want to get my hands on it. I really do.
I think it's amazing that someone just kind of like came into the market. You know, like amongst like there's a lot. Android has a lot of competition, so this is kind of promising from this.
Yeah, there's a lot of Android phones out there. Yeah. It's a really cool kind of side feature, but is it enough to get to people to switch away from their Samsungs? We'll see.
I don't know. We will see, guys. And if it's not this one, definitely the next one they'll make will probably be 10 times better because they just, first one's always like learning, and the next one's like, oh, now we just make it way better. Okay. Well, if you want to find more of our shenanigans, you can follow our Twitter, tech_laundry. I'm at Jeffrey A. Barron on Twitter as well.
And I'm at Tertius Buffetta. We tweet a lot. We're using the hashtag TechLaundry. So make sure to follow that if you're really curious about like the things we do or the things we find.
Indeed. You can look at our site to take a look at Tertius' first day look at his Apple Watch. Yeah. Very nice picture on there. Tech Laundry Podcast.
Thank you. That was sweet.
That's pretty good. And yeah, we're up on Acast or Acast. We don't even know what we call it. You can check that out.
Yeah, definitely. Like listen through us through there, so it'll be boost up our numbers. We're great.
Yeah, and if you don't want to, well, you can find us in Stitcher and iTunes Store and all the usual places. It usually gets around everywhere. And if you can't do that, well, just stream it through the website because that works too.
Yeah.
That's it for this week, guys. Thanks for tuning in. This is a longer episode. I didn't think. We had like one big topic and I was like, well, I guess we're going to talk about it, but how long? Longer than we think it's going to be.
Yeah. We do talk a lot.
We talk a ton. I'm very good at talking. Okay, so get digs with that. You guys have a good day. And until next time, encrypt everything. I know I did.
Stupid.
Use Veracrypt. Check it out.
Oh my god, you're the worst. All right.
All right.
Turn that stream off, Jeff.